In this video, I will be guessing the Rockets record and then putting my money where my mouth is, betting the over or under what I guess via a Vegas book. For instance, if I think the Rockets will win 40 games this year and Vegas has them at 32, I will bet the over and vice versa for the under. Before I continue, I know this video is being released pretty late. However, I wrote the script preseason and decided, hey, better late than never. So here we go. The Rockets were obviously terrible last year, only winning 22 games with 60 losses, albeit they weren't the worst team in the NBA. And with some lot of luck, they were able to land top pick Amen Thompson. This team got used to winning from the early to late 2010s, and if it weren't for injuries to their stars, Chris Paul, they could easily got themselves a ring taking on the dynasty super team of the Golden State Warriors. So you could say these Rocket fans are accustomed to winning. However, for the past 3 years, this team's been a joke, an object of ridicule, a mockery, a laughingstock. Yeah, I did use Thorus.com to get all these words. It's okay. I could say that because I'm a Detroit Pistons fan and we haven't had a playoff win since the 2007 season. And I'm making this video after the Pistons broke the streak of most consecutive L's in a row. Yikes. And that's a topic for a different day. You could say I'm bitter about how the Pistons rebuild's going. You could say I'm envious about how the Rockets rebuild is going. Both are true. But for now, I'm interested in the Rockets rebuild, even though there's some weird beef between us Pistons fans and you Rocket fans out there. When it comes to Jalen Green versus Cade and now the Thompson twins, I'm here for it though. I love a good nonsensical rivalry. I think it's fun because we are both supposed to be at the same part of the rebuild. Similar situations for us, both tanking teams. However, one's rebuild's going much more smoothly than the others. We don't need to talk about it today. Before I delve into what the Rockets are cooking, I'm going to make a guess on what their record will be this year. This is a purely uneducated guess and simply from just what I'm thinking before doing any research for this video. I'm not looking at any Vegas lines, and if my bet is over the Vegas total wins on the year, I'm taking the over and betting it. And if it's under, I'll take the under, putting my money where my mouth is. This isn't going to be some crazy high bet. It's just something to do for fun. With that being said, I think the Rockets this year will finish with 32 wins, 10 games better than last year, and here's why. Like I mentioned earlier, this video got delayed and we're well into the season, and the Rockets have been absolutely killing it. And at this point, I'm taking whatever the Rockets over is. I also double checked the Vegas opening line for the beginning of the year for the season, and they were listed at 31.5. I promise I didn't look beforehand. Believe me or not, I'm still riding with the Rockets new over. And it's low-key a punishment too, because I could have got them at 31.5 earlier this year, and now it's 38.5. And it's deserved to me because this video should really have not taken that long to complete. But anyways, let's talk about the Rockets. The Rockets have slowly been improving since the James Harden trade. Remember when he was wearing that fat suit so he could get traded? Yeah, those were some dark days for Rocket fans. Never thought we would see someone pull a full Charles Barkley in a point guard's body. However, the Rockets received a haul via picks that were conveying until 2027, including swaps. They didn't receive much with players coming back, but hey, we know that Tillman Fertitta is a cheap billionaire. Ironic, I know. He didn't want to pay anyone, including getting a good coach during the rebuilding stage. With Mike D'Antoni out, Stephen Silas was in. The Rockets went from a Western Conference semifinals team to winning only 17 games the next year. Super exciting for Rockets fans. We all know how that went. Speaking of Silas, in my opinion, he might be a basketball terrorist. He's on the current Pistons roster, actively as an assistant coach, and obviously we all know the Pistons broke the streak for the most consecutive L's in a row. And I don't mean to make this about the Pistons, but come on, wherever this man goes, he's taking big fat L's. I have to make the point. I think he needs to be studied in a lab, honestly. The players regressed shooting from the 21-22 season to the 22-23 season. As you can see, all of them got worse from the three-point line. Not too sure what this man is coaching, but it's definitely not getting ball in hoop. And overall, Stephen Silas has the 4th worst win-loss percentage of all time. His roster has been hot garbage throughout the years. At the same time, he never did himself any favors with his questionable player rotations, and I know the fans have been calling for more Sengun minutes since his rookie year. And the fans knew what they liked and liked what they saw, evident by how good Sengun has absolutely been balling this year. Furthermore, not to speak ill of the dead, but R.I.P. Paul Silas. He was the coach of the worst coach team of all time with a 7-59 record. But to pile on Stephen Silas a bit more, he was the assistant coach on the roster. So maybe some guys aren't meant to be coaching the NBA. You could just say it runs in the family bloodline. Alright, enough of that. Luckily, or maybe unluckily, depending on how you see it, he was great at one thing. And that one thing was tanking. The GOAT tank commander. He only coached 3 years for the Rockets, and the record went as follows: 17-55, 20-62, and 22-60. So he's getting better every year, technically. With the luck of the draw, the Rockets got the 2nd pick in 21, 3rd pick in 22, and 4th pick in last year's draft. I will talk about the Rockets' young core here in a second, but first, let's talk about the controversial hire, but great hire by the Rockets, Ime Udoka. We don't need to get to the nitty-gritty details about his non-basketball related ordeals, but we all know what happened. Just say, not a great look for him. However, if you look past that controversy, he would be considered a great coach and he'd still be coaching the Celtics. After all, he did lead the Celtics to the finals as a rookie head coach. And if he had won the finals, he would have been one of 6 coaches to win it all as a rookie head coach, including an elite list of Steve Kerr, Pat Riley, Ty Lue, Nick Nurse, and Paul Westhead. In my opinion, his 1 year as a head coach really proved what he was made of. After all, he comes from a Greg Popovich coaching tree. He coached 7 years with the Spurs. So some things he's going to bring to the Rockets is that he's a hard-nosed, no bullshit coach, and he brings great culture with him. The Rockets have been lacking this. A great defensive coach. Again, the Rockets had one of the worst defenses in the NBA and have become tanking. And a former NBA player, Ime Udoka, can relate with the other players on the court. After all, Jason Tatum sung his praises, calling him his favorite coach of all time.
Big way the relationship that me and him had and the impact that he had on me in that one season. I love Coach K, I love Brad, I love Joe, I love all those guys, but, just a different kind of relationship I had with Ime and, probably like my most favorite coach I've had. And that's not a knock on anybody.
I still think there's a lot to be seen with Ime. He doesn't exactly have an offensive scheme. It was a bit of my turn, your turn with the Jays, but his defense was absolutely elite. Also, we haven't seen him coach a rebuilding team before this season. At the end of the day, Ime is a no bullshit coach that will demand respect from his players, and it's great for a young team like the Rockets who don't have too many vets and will benefit from his no-nonsense style of coaching. I think when it comes to the young core of the Rockets, they may not have a superstar or a number one option on this roster currently, but they definitely have multiple potential future All-Stars. These guys include Amen, Green, Sengun, and Smith. I'm lowest on Green just because how inefficient he's been throughout his young NBA career, and his defense is not great, suspect at best. However, if he improves his efficiency, I think you could hide him on the defensive end if needed, and when he's cooking, he's almost impossible to stop. And then I'm in love with Jabari Smith. He's almost a 7-foot guy, and he can score from the inside, outside, and has pretty good defense, including rim protection, and he moves great for a guy his size. I think with the addition of Amen Thompson, a true point guard, he will excel and improve efficiency as well for the team. As long as he can stay healthy, he will be great in the future for the Rockets, because right now they got Fred VanVleet, and he's been balling for them. I think Amen is their future point guard, and with the amount of athleticism he has, and in the few summer league games I watched of him, he looked unbelievable. He's maybe the most athletic player in the draft, and he's a great two-way player. As long as he stays healthy and develops a three ball, I think he has the potential to be Rockets' best player in a few years. And I know the Rockets are super high on Sengun, and he's a Euro big man drawing similar comps to Jokic. I mean, the kid's about to be nice. He's a big man who can facilitate, and that's huge whenever your big can facilitate out the post. And Ime won't limit his minutes like Silas did. I know that's for sure. And with the additions of the vets, Brooks, Fred VanVleet, Jeff Green, and my boy Boban, of course. They got some guys that can control the locker room. So guys like Kevin Porter Jr. can't run rampant throughout the locker rooms. He was a wild boy. It was kind of a circus last year. And they also got Cam Whitmore, who's a first-round pick who got a chip on his shoulder, slipping in the draft. He was supposed to be a top 5, top 10 pick. He lit up the Summer League, won Summer League MVP. And I think this team is primed to be 10 games better than last year. And the young core is set for the next upcoming years. And as long as they keep trading, improving their roster, this team will be a force to be reckoned with once again in the West in the next few years. And for those reasons, I think the Rockets will be 10 games better from this year than last year. And Rocket fans, I hope you enjoyed this one. I'm excited to see what this young and promising core can do for the next 5-10 years and further than that.